So, who are the Houthis and why do you need to know this right now? For some reason, this group, the Houthis, a rebel group based in Yemen, has threatened to get involved in the Israel-Hamas War. I mean, aside from the organization's slogan, which is Allah is great, death to America, death to Israel, and curse upon the Jews, victory to Islam, why are they getting involved in this faraway conflict? On October 19th, 2023, a U.S. warship in the Red Sea intercepted cruise missiles and drones launched by the Iranian-backed Houthis based in Yemen that were probably aimed at Israel. A spokesperson for the Pentagon said, "We cannot say for certain what these missiles and drones were targeting, but they were launched from Yemen, heading north along the Red Sea, potentially toward targets in Israel." So the potential involvement of the Houthis in the Israel-Hamas war is another factor which will concern world leaders trying to prevent the violence from spilling over from just Israel and Gaza into the entire Middle East. The organization's formal name is Ansar Allah, Defenders of God. They are Shiite, but they're a specific type of Shiite Muslim, which is Zaidi or Zaidiya. Shiite Muslims are the minority of Muslims in the world compared to Sunnis, and Zaidis are a minority within the Shiite minority. Iran currently is the leader of the Shiite world, but the Houthis are different even from them religiously. I'm not going to go into the theological differences, but there is a difference between the different Shiite denominations, if you will. So in recent history, the Houthis have been embroiled in a civil war in Yemen that started in 2015. Saudi Arabia is actually the main opposition or is supporting the opposition to the Houthis. Both sides have been accused of war crimes, and the Saudi air and naval blockade of Houthi-controlled territory is believed to have created one of the largest and worst humanitarian disasters in the world today, with millions of Yemenis at dire risk of starvation and disease. In 2021, the UN estimated that the war had caused 377,000 deaths through direct and indirect causes. The agency also says that more than 11 million children are in need of humanitarian assistance. Hundreds of children have been killed by Houthi-laid landmines and explosive devices. So the Houthis are aligned with Iran, which basically in the bigger picture pits Iran versus Saudi Arabia. The Houthis have also, during this time, fired missiles at Saudi Arabia, as well as United Arab Emirates. Many Yemenis actually like the Houthis and see them as patriots fighting for the country's, fighting against the country's traditional enemy, Saudi Arabia, and also America and Israel. Apparently, the Houthis today control about 1/3 of the country's territory, which contains 70 to 80% of the population. The history and the politics here are complex, and I'm not trying to get too in-depth here. This is just an overview of who they are. But the humanitarian disaster there is probably one of the most underreported in the world. So, question is, are they a proxy or an ally of Iran? From which do they receive weapons? Do they receive training from them? Both sides deny that they receive weapons from them. The other question is, are they a terrorist organization? And that, again, depends on who you ask. Under former U.S. President Donald Trump, yes, the movement was listed temporarily as a terrorist organization, but U.S. President Joe Biden removed that label. However, the Yemen National Defense Council has ruled that, yes, the Houthis in their country are a terrorist organization. The group is also associated with Hamas, which is the terrorist group that rules the Gaza Strip. But the counter extremism project points out, quote, higher ups in the Houthi movement have expressed support for Hamas. Before he was killed, Houthis founder Hussein al-Houthi made it a point to praise Hamas for its wars against Israel. It adds that Hamas maintains a representative in Houthi-held territory in Yemen. So on October 10th, 3 days after the Israel-Hamas conflict began, current leader Abdel Malik al-Houthi warned that the group would respond to U.S. involvement by firing drones and missiles. He said, quote, there are red lines when it comes to Gaza. And he added that the Houthis were ready to coordinate with other groups and intervene. So as you can see, this is one of the many groups and one of the Iranian proxies, maybe proxies, but definitely allies that we are keeping an eye on as the war between Israel and Hamas develops. If you found this video interesting and want to learn more, please subscribe to this channel, and that way you'll get updates as soon as we upload something new. Thank you again for watching.